the stand. Now he runs. He produces a magic print. He pulls out another one. This is incredible. This is ridiculous. This is 15 out of 10 on the incredible meter. What a player. What an entertainer. Give him the medal. Give him the Dally M medal.
Hello, footy fans, and welcome back to the Chip and Chase podcast. Now, for those of you who don't know, yesterday on the Saturday, we had the grand finals of a few New South Wales Rugby League competitions, one of which being the UNE SG Ball Cup grand final between the St George Illawarra Dragons and the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, which we'll be reviewing in this podcast. I had the lucky opportunity to sit down on a day I had nothing else to do, and I sat down, just watched some junior rugby league, and I thought I'd jot down a few notes as I do with my normal footy games and put together a bit of a podcast and talk about all the players and everything that happened in this game, because, these players could very well define the future of our game. They could be the next men up in the NRL. For those of you who don't know, the SG Ball is the under-19s, the premier under-19s competition in New South Wales. It's affiliated with the NRL, affiliated with New South Wales Rugby League. And so, basically everybody that took place, all the teams that took place in this competition are the best for the under-19s age group I don't want to say the country, but it's mainly New South Wales teams and the inclusion of the New Zealand Warriors as well into those teams. Basically, just the best in the under-19s age group is the best way to sort of look at this one. And the grand final took place yesterday on the Saturday, and I just got to sit down and watch this one. And I thought, look, let's just take some notes. Let's discuss all these players, because as I said, they very much could be the future of our game. A lot of these players will go on to be NRL first grade players, and a lot might not, and that's fine. And if those people who don't, this could be their crowning glory in their life, to be honest, or at least in their rugby league careers. So I wanted to not only watch this, for my own sake, because I love rugby league, I love footy, and to see everybody who's going to be up and coming, and to, it's really cool just to sort of see that stuff and to see all the young players coming through and who your clubs have signed and who they should be targeting and who's going to be the next big thing. I think that's really cool to have a little bit of inside knowledge when you're such a big footy fan as myself. But beyond that, it gives a bit of knowledge to you guys, for those of you who didn't catch this game but are quite interested in who's coming through the ranks. I can tell you what I saw through this game, and you guys get a bit of knowledge from that. And even further beyond that, it gives the recognition to these players. And as I said, a lot of these players may not go on to do fantastic things in rugby league. This could be their crowning glory. And if that's the case, at least we can shed some light onto that in this podcast and give them the congratulations they deserve, because what they're doing, if this is as far as they go in their rugby league careers, is a lot further than 99% of the population. I know I never got this far in my rugby league career. I was never the greatest player, to be honest. I took it seriously, but it was never something I've really put my full heart into. I think my talents come in the analysis and chatting about it. I think I'm a much better yapper than I am a player. But the players who do feature in these games, this is something to them. This means a lot to them. And as I said, let's shed some light onto that and give them their dues, because to make it this far, this is the best of the best of the under-19s in essentially the country, and even further beyond the country with the addition of the New Zealand Warriors in the competition. So these guys, there's some bloody good talents in this, and let's get right into it and talk about this one. So as I said, this one took place between the St George Illawarra Dragons and the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, the scoreline did end up being a bit of a blowout. The Dragons won this one 40-18. And look, we'll get into the gameplay and the standouts and everything. But regardless of whether or not you won or lost this game, as I said, you made it to the grand final. You're still better than every other team below you. And even all those players who are in all those other teams who didn't make the grand final, you're better than every other player who didn't make those teams. So these players, no matter whether you made the grand final, lost the grand final, didn't make the grand final, these are still the players that are going to shape our future. So there's some really exciting stuff here. But the Dragons, they did get away 40-18 victors in this one. So we'll start with We'll start with the Bulldogs. Now, as I normally do in my reviews, we like to start with the losing team, give them their love first. Look, we're not going to be focusing too much on negatives in this. It's not rugby league. It's not life or death for these teams, for these players. It's no jobs on the line. It's literally go out in there and potentially shape your futures and have a crack at doing a sport that you love. So we're not going to look at this game and the result and be like, the Bulldogs are absolutely terrible. Because what does that achieve? So we're going to look at this from quite a positive standpoint and talk about these players. So for the Bulldogs, we'll touch on, I guess, why I think they lost the game to start with. Now, besides the fact that the Dragons team were very clinical, very physical, and just incredible across the park, I think the Bulldogs, their biggest weakness in this one was the just inability to slow down the ruck. It's not necessarily that their individual players were worse than the Dragons. I don't think that at all. In fact, when I thought they had the ball, I thought they showed up and they were dominant and physical, and they never looked like they were just being beaten by a bigger, better team. I just think that, as I said, these are under 19s, my apologies. A lot of experience comes in your later years of life. There's things that I learn in my rugby league. I say career, I just do it as a pastime because I love rugby league. But there's things I'm learning nowadays into my 24th year of life and my, 11th, 12th, 13th year of playing or whatever. No, beyond that, probably 15 years of playing. The stuff that I still learn to this day that, these players, that they'll pick up later on in it as well. And I think just slowing down the ruck was a big one in this one. The Dragons, when they got a roll on, they just kept going, and the Bulldogs, they'd make a good tackle and just peel off too quickly, and it was tough. It just let the Dragons keep that momentum and get a roll on, and the Bulldogs could really do nothing to stem the blood flow. But when we look at, as I said, individuals, I thought both of their props played really, really well. I want to get up the names of these two players. So we had Fanafu Seve. Apologies if I mispronounce names in this. I'm guaranteed that I will. It's no disrespect to any of you. But Fanafu Seve, thought he was really good, along with Oliver Smith. They started from the opening set just really, really strong. The Bulldogs, despite the loss, they did come out and score in the first minute with just some really good defense to force a Dragons error, and then just clinical to score in the right-hand side corner through their right-hand winger, Hamish Wilson. So they came out of the sheds quite good, and then from the opening kickoff after that, when they received possession, as I said, that's where these two front rowers, Seve and I've already forgotten the other's name, Seve and Smith, they got a really good roll on. They were really hard to handle. Thought they played quite good. Beyond that, I thought Logan Spinks had some really decent moments. He was the one to force the Dragons into touch in the opening set, which of course led to the Bulldogs having possession and getting the opportunity to score in that first set of the game, or I guess in their first set of the game. So thought he had that moment. He had a few unfortunate moments, did Logan Spinks, but he also came up with a nice little try assist later on in the game and some really good runs as well. Big fan of Logan Spinks. He's a country boy. He comes from Farrer Memorial Agricultural High School, which is my junior rugby league school, my junior high school. So very familiar with Logan Spinks since he's been at the high school and coming through the grades. I think he's got a great future in our game. Very just tough competitor, as they all are from the country, except me. I'm pretty soft. But Logan, he had a few errors in this one. I'll be completely fair to him, and I know if he's listening to this, he'll be the first to say that. He's quite a harsh critic on himself, as Logan. But he had some really good moments, and I do think this was one of the poorer games from him. He's got a big future. And again, anybody who's making it to the grand final of the under-19s SG ball competition, you have to be good to get here. So really good stuff from Logan Spinks. As I said, their front rowers, thought they were really good. I really liked Sasaya Kafusi, their centre. I believe he was... I don't want to actually quote which side he was, because I'll probably get it wrong. But I thought Sasaya Kafusi, he was quite damaging. Really just strong, big body. We mentioned a centre from the Harold Matts competition who was very similar. Just obviously someone who's just grown into their body quite early into their teens, and now they are under 19s, and they look just very physical and very just imposing figure out there. He scored a nice try, did Sosai Kafusi right at the death. So shout out to him. I thought Roy Tatapu, the fullback for the Bulldogs, I thought he had some really good moments. Looked very just adept out the back, a nice shape to his body, really sort of the prototype fullback that we see in today's game. Just a really nice figure, really fast, really strong, just confident under the high ball. Thought he was really good for the Bulldogs in his limited opportunities. As I said, Hamish Wilson opened the try scoring, so really good from him. But the standout for the Bulldogs had to be their halfback and their captain, Mitchell Woods. Now, it didn't start all great for Mitchell Woods, and in fact, I guess it didn't end great for them either with the scoreline. But Mitch, he got sent from the field for a sin bin for holding a man down too long after a break. So he spent time in the sin bin for that one. But when he came back, especially in that second half, he really just tried to orchestrate a lot. He was involved in everything. Even before he got sent, I really liked his control of the game. He put a really nice kick through down into the Dragons back line. And he was the first to chase it, met down there, and just really showed really great control for a player of his age. So really thought he was an absolute standout for the Bulldogs. As I said, in that second half, he was doing absolutely everything for them. He looks like a proper star. Again, don't want to heap too much pressure on these guys. A lot of people, this might be it for their rugby league careers, but I'm hoping not for Mitchell Woods. I think he's got so much about him. He also, right after this game, was named player of the SG Ball competition for 2024. So obviously didn't get the chockies in this one. But when you're the captain of this side and you're the SG Ball player of the year, you must be doing something right. And that's really good to see, because it's always hard to find these really good halfbacks coming through. Halfback, the most important, the most integral position to any team. And to get these ones that are a great combination of being coached by players who know the game, and you have that control and you have that game knowledge, but you just play eyes up footy on the back of that. It's really hard to sort of get that balance. And Mitchell Woods, he looks like he's got all of that at his age. So I thought he was really, really good for the Bulldogs. Definitely a standout from them. I thought Bud Smith, their lock, was quite good as well. And I really liked David Leota off the bench for them. I thought he had some really good moments in that second half. When they tried to wrestle back momentum a bit and they got a few tries late, I think a lot of that was off the back of Leota and Finau's runs in this second half. So, yeah, really good shout out to them. I also thought Sosaya Alatini, the second rower for the Bulldogs, had a nice little game as well. But of course, the standouts for this one have to be the Dragons, who ran away 40-18 victors. Now, look, there's going to be a lot of players I give a mention to here, and if I don't mention you from either team, it's not to say that you guys had a bad game at all. I just can't spend an hour on these podcasts and talk about every moment that happened in the game. For anybody who wants to see this, it's all up on New South Wales Rugby League. You can get a 14-day free trial, so you can go watch all of these games, this game, the Harold Matts, everything in between. And yeah, just get a better feel for yourself. But if you're just here for a little 20-minute chat about who I thought was good, that's what we're here for, and I will try and get through that. So for the Dragons, the standout for me early into the game was Loki Jr. Loki Jr. Pacifici Tonga. Loki Jr. Pacifici Tonga. Jesus. Apologies. Sincerest apologies for butchering that. I've definitely stuffed that up about 14 times. But yeah, he was one of the front rowers for the Dragons. He was monstrous. He is humongous. Definitely someone I think has a massive future in our game. Again, I don't want to be heaping pressure on these players. But yeah, God, he was a colossus out there. I think he was very much I think it was a big reason the Dragons got this roll on. I say that the Bulldogs' biggest weakness was being unable to put the Dragons players onto the ground and slow down the ruck. I don't know how anybody slows down Loco Jr. Pacifici Tonga. Like, I'm 24 this year. There's no chance I'm standing in front of him winding up. He was gigantic, an absolute colossus. The post-contact meters he was churning out were just insane. So, yeah, very exciting talent. Hopefully someone we see a lot more of it in the coming years, because, yeah, just crazy. But I also thought his front row partner, Ryan Hutchinson, I thought he was absolutely incredible. Now, Hutchinson, he played the entire first half as a front rower. Keep in mind, these are 35-minute halves, so it's a 70-minute game, but 35 minutes straight as a 19-year-old front rower is mental. There are no front rowers in the NRL that are pumping out an entire half of football, and Ryan Hutchinson, not only did he do that, but he put together some incredibly tough carries. He also scored himself a cheeky meat pie for a front row, which is something that you don't get too often. I would know as a front rower myself. Scored a nice try off they put a kick up, and the centre, I believe it was Lyric Craft Tamoanui. Again, apologies for any mispronunciations here. I'm no meaning to disrespect, but I believe it was Lyric who went up and contested the football, came down with it, and got the offload back into Ryan Hutchinson, who crossed over. So that's always a welcome little treat as a front rower scoring a meat pie, but he well and truly deserved it for his effort in this game. Really, really good in attack, just lots and lots of beats. Not just your typical front rower. He was a bit meat and potatoes the way he plays. He wasn't loco bursting a million tackles a game, but he was making so many post-contact meters regardless. Lots of runs despite how long he was out there. And the big part of his game, he was one of the few defenders I thought out there that really didn't let themselves down. So I thought Ryan Hutchinson was absolutely incredible for the Dragons. Beyond that, their lock, Finau Latu. Again, apologies if I've mispronounced that, but Finau Latu, thought he was really good up the middle again. Again, it all comes back to the Bulldogs' inability to slow down the ruck, but there's a reason they couldn't slow down the ruck, and it's because these players were just incredibly tough to stop. I thought Latu up the guts as well was really, really, really strong. Lots of post-contact meters with him as well, just charged with a lot of intent. And the Bulldogs, every run, they really struggled to get him to ground. So that's always going to be tough to slow down the player to play the ball when you can't get the player to ground. Thought he was really good. The Dragons 5'8". They say 5'8". He played predominantly as a halfback in this one. So the way he played, I thought he was tremendous. Let's get into it. Shadi Hamoud. He was the captain for the Dragons in this one. Ended up coming off with an injury in the moon boot and the crotches and everything. So hopefully nothing too serious there for him. But he was really good. As I said, he was lining up in the 5'8" jersey, but predominantly played as the halfback. He was the controlling presence in this side, while the actual halfback, the named halfback, Brandon Tikanau, he predominantly was sort of a running 5'8" in this one, and he played well as well. But Shadi Hamoud, he was just exceptional. He showed great eyes up footy to kick it over the top for Jesse Williams to score in the 17th minute. And just great vision and confidence to pull that move off. Perfect weight on the kick as well. It's just, these are things that you can't coach. Literally a bit of ad-lib play. Not necessarily ad-lib play. It was last tackle, but didn't have much time to gather the ball, collect his thoughts and poke that over. And as I said, perfect weight, perfect depth. What can you say? That's the sort of stuff you want to be seeing from your halves. And he was fantastic. And there's a reason that the two halfbacks, essentially halfbacks in my opinion, as I said, Shadi played predominantly as a halfback in my opinion. But these two players for the Bulldogs and the Dragons, they were the captains, and there's a reason for that. They are some incredible talents, and phenomenal games from both of them. Speaking of Jesse Williams, who scored that try from Shadi, by God, is he quick. Didn't get too many opportunities to get into open space. There was one, I think the Bulldogs had a short side, maybe not a short side play, but they went down the right-hand side. I can't remember exactly how it came off, but it ended up out the back, and just watching Jesse Williams sprint past all the Bulldogs defenders, try and toe the kick through in broken play was just mental. And then, for him to get to that ball from Shadi Hamoud, just ridiculous. And then there was another move where he was just on the end of a backline move from the fullback, Tyler Peckham-Harris, which we will get to a bit shortly. And he just blitzed down that left side really, really fast as Jesse Williams. And they interviewed him at the end. Seems like a stand-up guy as well. So shout out Jesse Williams. The left back rower for the Dragons, Jacob Halangahu. Jacob Halangahu. Again, apologies for all the pronunciations. But I think he has a really big future in our game. Again, I sit here and say I don't want to put pressure on these guys. there are obvious standouts that you think, God, these players are going to make NRL. Whether or not they star in NRL, we'll have to find out, but you can't deny their ability at under 19s, as I said. So this is already adults. You know, they're not taking that next step just yet, but they're not far off it. And yeah, this Jacob Halangahu was just ridiculous. He ended up picking up the Man of the Match award for this grand final, so that's always going to be an incredible achievement. Again, if he doesn't go on to do great things, that is already a great achievement, and as I said, better than 99% of the population out there. Really, really good game from him. He's just got a bit of everything. Very much a David Fafita mold to him. Just really big, really mobile. Had some nice ball playing, like he was getting involved in attacking structures as a second rower, which is, you know, quite odd. A lot of the time, especially in the NRL today, all second rowers are just lead runners. They're decoys, or you hit them on a short ball and they can just find the line. And that's an art in itself, just running that hard line, which he did to a good extent in this game as well. But the fact that he could also ball play as a second rower, make 1 million meters, make 1 million post-contact meters, never get the play to ground. He was genuinely exceptional. He's a proper weapon. So yeah, I can. We'll get to who I actually thought was man of the match, but I cannot push back on Jacob winning this award. As I said, proper freak. He was incredible, and I do genuinely believe he has a big future in our game. Now, the last man I want to mention in depth is the fullback, Tyler Peckham Harris. Wow, what a game from him. As I said, this is who I think should have been the man of the match, but again, I'm not going to push back too hard on Jacob, and I don't want to take anything away from Jacob's success in doing that. But yeah, Tyler Peckham Harris, oh my God, his performance was incredible. The little fullback for the Dragons, just he was everywhere in attack and defense. My apologies. A really small body for a fullback, so it's not like your typical ones in today's game, and not even, you know, especially in contrast to Roy Tatapu from the Tatapu. That would be how I'm going to say that's how I pronounce it. Roy Tatapu from the Bulldogs. Yeah, very different body shapes from these two. Definitely Roy for the Bulldogs is a more of that prototype fullback, and he had a good game as we said for the Bulldogs. But Tyler Peckham Harris shows he's still that small, nippy little fullback. Has still very much got a place in our game. Very much sort of like the Jai Gray mold, very small, but he plays well above his weight. As I said, we'll mention his attack in a second, but the big thing for him was his defense. Now, there were a few moments that the Bulldogs just made a few breaks down their wing, etc. Their left winger, I believe Ratu Rinakama, very, very big player. Like, again, we talk about the prototype wingers in today's game. You're looking at 6'5" wingers who make 100 meters, 150, 100, 200 meters a game. That's the prototype winger nowadays. They're gigantic. They're not your necessarily nippy players like they once used to be. They're still very fast and very big and very strong. And when they make a break, it's terrifying as a fullback, because how are you going to make that tackle? Well, when you're the size of Tyler Peckham Harris and you're up against the size of Ratu Rinakama running full speed down that wing at you, again, I'm not getting in front of that player, but young, small Tyler Peckham Harris not only got in front, but absolutely leveled any Bulldog that made a break. His cover defense was incredible for some. I can't get over his performance, to be honest. He was just incredible. I look up. He's a name I remember, and I can't recall where I've heard the name from. Can't remember if he got a feature in trials or if there was just some other junior rugby league that I've familiar with his name, but it's a name that I was familiar with, and I tried to get a bit more information. I couldn't really find any, but just basically, let's get back into this game. Beyond his just outstanding defense, his attack, ridiculous. He's just, such a natural footballer. You can tell from the way he plays, it's all just natural ability for him, and that's just so awesome to see. There's so many players that we lose, or we just try and coach out their natural eyes-up ability and go with, look, we do attacking shapes, we do attacking structures, you have to fit into this unique role. No, let proper footy players play footy, and that's what Tyler Peckham Harris does. Just, I genuinely, words can't describe his performance. So he had those incredible try-saving tackles. Had two beautiful balls and try assists to Zachariah Nakar on the wing, both leading to tries to Nakar on the wing, who played a really good game himself. Shout out Nakar. I think it's Nakar. But yeah, he had two really good balls to Zachariah Nakar on the right wing, and then he popped up on the left-hand wing and he put Jesse Williams over on another attacking structure. So there's 3 try assists from him chiming in. Had some incredibly darting runs. They could not contain him whenever he had the ball. And that's a big thing with the smaller players. It's so hard. Even in Brian To'o. Now, I'm not saying Brian To'o is small, but you think of the prototype wingers today, your Daniel Tupos, your Dominic Youngs, your everything else, your Jason Sabs. You're looking at 6'5", 110 kilo wingers. Now, in that aspect, Brian To'o is small, but because he's smaller, he's nuggety, it's so hard to get that grip on him and tackle. You know, you think of the game that just happened last night with the Panthers and the Cowboys. Go and watch that back if you didn't see Brian To'o's game, how impossible he was to put down. Well, that's the mold of these smaller players, and you can see that with Jai Gray playing for the Rabbitohs at the moment, and Tyler Peckham-Harris, he's exactly like that as well. So small, so nuggety, so fast, so quick, and so strong in contact. That's the thing. I sit here and say small as if it's some sort of negative. It's not at all, because he's so strong and so he believes in his body. He's got no fear whatsoever. And yeah, he's just, yeah, he'd run over many players twice his weight and twice his height. He's a freak. I'm sort of obsessing a bit over how Tyler Peckham-Harris played here. I don't want to get him too big for his boots, but yeah, just incredible. Just congratulations, Peckham-Harris. You were phenomenal. He was one of the players that got interviewed at the end of the game as well, and he also seems like a bit of a stand-up guy as well. So shout out Tyler Peckham-Harris. You were my man of the match, in my opinion. But once again, I don't want to harp on too much. And again, if I've left anyone off this chat, it's nothing wrong to you guys. Oh, sorry, Lyric Craft oh, God. Maybe I should have left you off the list because I can't pronounce the name. Lyric Craft Te Moana Nui. Lyric Craft to Moana Nui. Craft to Moana Nui. My apologies. Really good game from him. As I said, he was the player who went up, caught the ball when no one else was contesting, and he came up with the offload to Hutchinson for that early try for the Dragons. But he also came up with another play late in the game, just doing it for himself, where he just went up and caught the ball and crossed himself. So got to shout that stuff out as well. And David Afu, the left centre for the Dragons, he was incredible as well. Very much of a Moses Sully mode. Big, strong, fast. Yeah, really hard to handle. Thought he was incredible. But again, anybody who I didn't mention, it's nothing against you guys. Everybody in this Dragons team, and I mean everybody, had an incredible game. There was Corey Ackers off the bench. He scored a nice try. They harped on about Ackers a bit because he came through their Harold Matts as well. So he's been in their junior system for a long time, which is really good to see when these players stay in and they nurture their talent. So Corey Ackers, thought he was phenomenal. Again, if I didn't mention any of you players, it's not because you had a bad game. I thought you all played incredible, and a massive congratulations has to be said to every single one of you. This is an incredible achievement. Nobody gets to make it to SG Ball. Nobody gets to make it to a grand final, but you guys did. Yeah, it's not just anybody out there. You guys did, and you not only made it, but you won the grand final 40-18, and you are the 2024 SG Ball under-19s champions. Like, no one can take that away from you, and no one else can ever have that title. That's all you guys, and every single one of you deserve that, and every single one of you played well, not just the players, but the organisation, everyone involved. It's an incredible achievement. And once again, to the Bulldogs, the same deal for you guys. You didn't get the chockies in this one, but this is an incredible achievement. You were better than everybody else in the under-19s who didn't make it. You guys did. That's an incredible achievement. You've done more in your life than, as I said, 99% of other aspiring rugby league players get to do. So congratulations to everyone involved, and special congratulations to the Dragons for winning this one. Hopefully we can see, a lot of these guys progress into first grade and have big futures in our game. But that one will wrap us up for the SG Ball Grand Final review. Thank you guys for tuning into this one. If you guys didn't catch it, we did also review the Harold Matts Grand Final. Now, the Harold Matts is the under-17s Grand Final. Took place on the exact same day. So we've got to watch that one and review that one. So if you're looking for even younger talent that may be shaping the future of our game, go to give that one a listen. Or if you just want a few more content, a bit more content, just listen to me chat some shit. It's up for you guys to listen to as well. But for anyone still listening into this one, I'll thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.